I like your helmet. That's cool. Dude, actually, you did the whole thing. Oh, come on, dude. That's fantastic. Oh. Come on. Are you kidding me right now? Woo! Yeah.
Spent all night the day before I go out, and then the day of the evening. That's when this started. From 10:30 in the morning, and I got 3 hours sleep.
Crazy. What did you make it out?
So my friend is a cosplay person. He helped make me out of it. He made all of it. Wrapped it in fabric. Like stretching for ways to glue it down, and then on top of that, and then smoke the foam with fabric wrapped around it, and then the other circle on.
That's good.
Yeah, and we actually did 2 nights. So.
I like your shirt color choice.
I do.
Stud inside. Good to see you again. I told you this is my room, buddy.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good morning.
No, Michael's. You guys got this coaching.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome, good morning. Make some noise for yourselves for being here bright and early. Thank you so much. I am Clayton Thomas, CT. I am the moderator for this event. I am so excited to be back, seeing you guys in person after 4 long years. We are celebrating 29 years of Power Rangers. Make some noise for that right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored. It is such a pleasure. I'm so grateful to be next to these legendary Rangers to my left. As a matter of fact, this panel actually is the Alien Rangers. Alien Rangers, make some noise! Because this is so early in the morning, we do not have nameplates, so I would love to go down the line. Everybody introduce themselves and their character, please, because we're about to be celebrating you guys for the next hour. Let's start with this legendary gentleman to my left.
Hi, my name is Big Bang Michael Laskey. You know me as Young Rocky. And first of all, thank you for moderating. Because if you follow me on social media at all, you know I need to be moderated. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Alan Palmer. I played Corcus the Black Alien.
I'm David Bacon. I played Araco. And I'm Jim Gray. I played Titus, the yellow Power Ranger.
This is amazing. First, let me ask you guys, well, before I even get to you guys, let me tell everybody in the audience, when I tell you I enjoy talking to the Rangers, I know that you guys have questions as well, so I always like to be kind and courteous to everybody who has a question. So, in a few minutes, I'm going to have everybody line up who has a question. I want everybody to be able to get their question asked, and we'll have a good time. Good? All right, so first, I have to ask you guys, man. We're coming up on 29 years, almost 30 years of Power Rangers. Alien Rangers, to me, was one of the first. It was like a backdoor pilot spin-off series, and the way you guys got into it was so smooth. If I can ask, this is a very vain question. How long did makeup take? Put these alien masks on top of your head. Was there anything like we're dealing with hours in the makeup chair, or was it pretty quick?
Well, the beginning part of it, the first maybe 3 episodes, it took a long time. Remember, they were trying to color match our masks to our colors, so that took a long time. And then by the end of the show, they realized that none of it was being picked up on camera. So they were like, yeah, you're done. And so at the end, it took 10 minutes.
But it seemed like what took the longest, right, you guys, was making the helmets, was making that prosthetic piece. I think we all have different stories, but the stories all generally sound like our head was stuck in a bucket of plastic with straws up our nose for about 30 minutes. and if you're claustrophobic, you're pretty sure you're gonna die. And then you guys remember this? There's a special saw that they use to cut this stuff off your head, and it sounds like a helicopter landing on your face, right? And I just remember feeling like, man, I was in that thing for as long as I could stand. But yeah, once it was done, it was easy, on and on.
I enjoyed the helmet making thing. It was like being in a sleep deprivation chamber. It's the only silence I got in my life at that time. But no, yeah, once they made the helmet and they painted it all up and everything, and as Alan was saying, it became pretty, old habits. We did it, throw that on our head, get us into our jumpsuit, and we were set. I just wanted to know where the French toast was.
Ooh, let me ask you something. Do you remember, this is a side note on that same thing. Do you remember the place that we got the helmets done? Do you remember the alien autopsy that was supposed to be the legit thing and it was sitting over there to the side?
I do. I'm like, what the heck is that?
No way. Yeah. It was supposed to be legit and it was sitting there and I was like, wait a second, I saw that on the Inquirer.
I remember
Just
that.
FYI.
I watched it. I was sitting there like, oh my god, I found it.
The funny thing is watching it, and I don't know if I'm speaking for a lot of you guys with this, but watching it when it originally aired as kids, and I'm seeing these alien masks, they look so real to me. I'm like, oh, this isn't a prosthetic, this is really aliens because we believe anything as children. In the meantime, I want to start the line. If anybody has questions, let's start a line. Let's have that set. But before we do, Young Rocky to me, man, was one of the standout appearances from any of the children that were in the series, because Young Rocky was like, yo, this really is great casting because you still look like Steve. Like,
Well, thank you so much. I don't take compliments well, so I'm going to
questions from the audience. Is this a non-question? Ask a crowd?
They just want to hear us, man.
I love it.
What I want to know, if it's okay with you, I don't mean to take the microphone for you, because I was under the understanding that you guys had come from a strong theater background. Is that correct? Like all of you guys, right? I was so intimidated on the set with you guys because I'm like 11 years old at the time, and they were like, oh, we brought all these really cool theater actors to play like, your surrogate rangers. So when you guys were thinking of applying makeup, I remember I had to learn to do my own makeup in theater, so I just assumed that you guys were doing your own
That's how good we are.
It is interesting though, right? Alan and I were talking about this. I think all of us had theater backgrounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all had a very
Musical theater, we were waiting for that show. Alan and I, we were all set, we had our dance all set.
Power Rangers
Jim had
on
a
Ice.
special one, all choreographed. Maybe somebody should suggest that.
yes.
Alien Rangers on the roof or something.
We all had a really interesting read. We all sounded like we came from the old globe. And this sort of way of speaking. And every one of us had the same thing. We saw some of the audition things, and it was always the exact same. I was like, oh, I guess they matched us all up.
It's like, why are the Alien Rangers speaking in Iambic pentameter?
But can I tell you the other thing, the other side of it was we were told, or we knew that there were going to be all these young kids in the set, and we were like, wow, these are child actors. They're going to be, their parents are going to be watching over them, so we got to be careful. And I've often been asked through the years, was it hard working with you guys? And I'm like, no, they were like consummate professionals. They just like showed up on time, they knew their lines, they knew where to stand, everything the director said, they did it. It was kind of amazing. And you guys were so little.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's a product of me having a father with a military background.
You all acted like you were adults. It was. We never felt like there was,
No, I always comment when people ask me about it. I always commented how you guys were, on top of it, miraculously, all of you.
That's always
You
so
made us look bad. I didn't like that.
Why are the kids better than we are?
Right? We have a theater.
One of the things that I love to ask, anytime I ever get the opportunity to moderate one of the Ranger panels, is I need you guys to tell me best moment on set and worst moment on set. So I'm starting with you with the worst, because you got to end with the good.
See, I had the good in my head. I started at the wrong end.
Start where you give the good.
I think the worst moment on set for me was it wasn't with the Alien Rangers. I think it was in the season. No, it was in our season because I think we were marching up to the command center. We were, but we were across the street in an empty field from the sound studio, and the scene was all the young Rangers. They were trying to because we couldn't teleport. We were marching manually up to the command center, and a sandstorm hits the kids, if you remember that. And they had these big industrial fans, and just a bunch of grips were just pouring sand into these giant fans, and they were shooting at us. And they were like, you gotta show your face. We can't have you cover your face. So we're doing this, trying to walk, and just tons of sand was hitting our face. It was ridiculous. I'm not sure that was like
That was before child labor laws. 1929, we shot that show.
It was the 90s, it was alright.
It was the 90s and it was non-union, so they could do whatever they want. Worse nowadays.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why someone never won the game.
I need to dump more sand on you.
Oh, wow. The worst, I think there were 2 days that we shot in water, where we were out in water, and they kept slathering suntan lotion on us so we wouldn't burn, but it was really hot. We were in velvet, which was the strangest thing, that they made our costumes out of this crushed velvet when it's not, you can't put it in water, otherwise it disintegrates.
Everybody in Akatar wears velvet. They had it right, they did their research. Purple velvet, Akatar, come on, everybody knows.
So I think that was my worst. We were sitting out there in 100 and something, yeah? I don't know, that was mine.
Well, mine was back to the sandstorm area. I remember one day we were shooting off of a fire road. It was just like, okay, we're almost ready. It's like today, in a fire road, way low. It was hot as hell. And it was one of those days, I don't know what was happening with the crew, but, where's my French toast? We got something about the sun, please. But, there are a lot of good things.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, there were really no bad days. I'll tell you one of the weirdest moments for me. I don't know if you guys remember when you found out you did cast in the Power Rangers. So let me ask you something. If you got cast in the Power Rangers, what would be the first thing you'd want to know after they said, "Hey, you're on the Power Rangers"? Exactly. What color? What color? Right? That's right. And I said to my agent, I'm like, this is amazing. What color am I? And I can hear paper shuffling. And he goes, oh yeah, you're yellow.
Did you get that phone fixed?
Yeah. I'm like, am I wearing a dress? And I'm like, that can't, right, exactly.
That's some old Shakespeare stuff right there.
Yeah. I said, can you check it again? Because I'm pretty sure the Yellow Ranger's a chick. And so, it's like, I can't shuffle. Like, no, you're yellow. So, it was puzzling. Although, what's cool is I was the first guy apparently to be the Yellow Ranger, so that's kind of cool, right?
I'd say that memory just keeps streaming back to me that I haven't thought of in 30 years when you guys were talking about worst days. I remember as a kid, there was a scene where you guys were eating popsicles, and you guys had to eat a ridiculous amount of popsicles. And I remember when you guys started it off, I was like, oh, cool, man, popsicles, it's hot out, right? As a kid, and then you just they keep finding more and more popsicles in ridiculous alien ways. So that just came back to me about that day. So I was like, oh man, that bathroom experience afterwards must not have been fun after that much sugar water.
Well, that's what's funny about that is I thought it would be funny to have them in every finger, and then after a while I was like, this sucks. So you stopped eating it and you just started spitting it out every time they would yell cut.
And the costume people were like right on you, like, don't touch the costume because it's crushed velour or whatever it was.
Yeah, I made a similar mistake as Alan. I thought, oh, let's see how many I can put in my mouth, and they thought that was a good idea.
So you create
Take 15, 4 things in my mouth. It's not fun.
create a bit without realizing the implications long term.
I never thought about how hot those, like as a kid, of course we're watching on TV, so I'm like, oh, these are beautiful costumes. But y'all were sweltering in these guys. Oh, give me the best. Give me the best moment. This is actually double for you, so you gotta go last.
Oh, okay.
This is double for you. And I'm gonna tell you why after we get to you. Give me your best moment.
It's keeping me on the edge of the shit, dude.
I know my best moment. The best moment. I mean, all of it was fun. But that first dance set, we all met each other, right? And we were all in costume, and we were all getting ready to shoot those first scenes. And you know, if you're an actor in LA, right? Any job that you can get, anything that pays, anything where you get to keep your clothes on, you're like, this is a good day. This is a good day. And I just remember we were all kind of looking at each other like, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're doing this. Yeah, that was a great moment. I remember that story.
Yeah, other than when they said we were done with too many ice creams in my mouth, every day we, as you can tell, the 3 of us here, and there was 2 others that we sorely missed, we have a good time. And you know, on our downtime, standing around, this is what happened. So every day was really a good day. Actors getting paid, velvet, not velvet, didn't really matter. You know, prosthetic head, I've had worse.
My favorite thing, and I told Jim this, but, well, I kind of told him in a roundabout way, but Jim doing the Roger Rabbit was my all-time favorite thing of all time, and he won't do it. Can you guys kind of get it?
Wait. Hold on. Hold on.
That's really one of my favorites.
He does a Roger Rabbit. Now,
Hang on.
if my sacroiliac comes streaming out of his mouth, that might be what the problem is.
Hang on. You have to remember that I was much younger.
Yeah, there's a song with those lyrics.
I was gonna say, are we talking about the dance or the voice? Can you do
The dance.
No, the dance was awesome. We did all sorts of things.
No, that was my favorite part. Jim, I'm down. I need to dance.
All right, look. I will do the dance. But you should know. I've not. All right. Hang on. I am 58 years old.
I was gonna say, he's gonna have to stretch. You guys will have to come back in a half hour. Good that he put his best asset to camera. All right.
So when you're making a TV show, right?
Yes.
All you mostly do is just stand around and do nothing, right? You're waiting for the next shot. So when you're in this, you try to find ways to entertain yourself. And I remember how it went. I think it's like.
That man's hips don't lie.
He won't make it to 6. Thank you, Jim.
You know why that's so impressive, man? Beyond you doing it, like you said, you're 58. I'm 36, and I cannot do what you did. Let me tell you why you were going last. Are you ready? Okay. The reason you have 2 moments is because you were a child when you booked this role. And when you booked this role, Power Rangers was the hottest thing on the planet. So you've already seen the impact. Now give me your best 2 moments.
So I would say the most, if I'm looking at the weight of what Power Rangers is, from the eye of me now pushing 40, and going to Comic-Cons regularly and seeing how, like, really, as an adult, realizing the impact that Power Rangers has and had on people's lives. I would have to say the first weighty moment was, in retrospect, walking in to the command center for the first time. That original command center that, you know, I mean, Power Rangers, when we're filming the 3rd season, I mean, we're filming this season right before, like, nobody knew who the White Ranger was. It was that cliffhanger. So, walking into that original command center and seeing that as like, I think about like 12 at that point was just insane. And the dedication and the stick-to-itiveness of not being able to touch anything. Because, like, imagine walking into that place and telling a 12-year-old that you cannot touch a button. Stay on your mark, Mike. Don't do anything else. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. That was like the big one. The second one, I would say more from like a kid's point of view, just not looking back as an adult, would be they shut down Raging Waters Water Park for us to film that entire water scene, or that whole water park scene. I think it was like Attack of the 50-Foot Boat, I think is what the water one was. And I, as a kid growing up, literally here, like 20 minutes away from here. We saw the Raging Water commercials all the time. I had never been to Raging Waters, so I was excited to go. And then they shut down, after production, they were nice enough to turn on all the rides for just us 5 kids. And we had to be escorted by a lifeguard everywhere, but it was just like going down water slides, no lines, nothing. It was such a cool experience. It didn't matter that it was actually 50 degrees, and the only reason I went down the park was because it was in winter. We were shivering, and we're going down again.
That's great. It's just phenomenal, man. Like it's like the hindsight is so crazy. I'm looking back because now all of us, you guys already knew because you were in theater, but it's like now, like he and I, like you don't know the prices of things, and you don't know why you get such a good deal. I didn't even think of that.
Well, you know, the importance of a moment when you're living in a moment is very different, right? My wife and I, we have we subscribe to a YouTube channel called the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which makes words for feelings that don't quite exist yet. And they have a post that's like Dave Vu, which basically just means that the realization in the moment that you're making a memory that you will look back on forever. And walking into that command center for the first time, I didn't know it then, but I know it now that this was going to be an important thing for the rest of my life.
Let me tell you something. This is directly from my heart to the Alien Rangers. I never felt that you guys got enough justice. Like, I never saw you guys enough. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it was that season, it was important, you guys did an amazing job, but I wanted more Alien Rangers. I wanted you guys, because now, and you guys know this by watching the current series, we now have 10 to 13 Rangers per a season. So it's like, this could have been done then and had you guys stay for another 50. So my next question is, will the Alien Rangers return?
Hi, Saban, everybody.
Wish. We hope, you know, we'd do it in a heartbeat.
Oh my gosh, yes, sure.
I think one of the coolest things to me about the Ranger season, I mean, having not been an Alien Ranger, is just the idea that whole season sort of softly introduced everybody to a larger world of Power Rangers, right? There wasn't just these 5 kids on this planet, but there are Power Rangers everywhere, different timelines. So the weight of that is super important. And me as a Star Trek fan, even at that age, seeing you guys come in as just like the sci-fi version of Power Rangers was just so much fun for me.
That's cool. Do you guys remember this? Okay, now most of you were probably not even born, but do you remember they stopped shooting the day the OJ verdict was read.
Are you serious?
We were at Botanical Gardens in Pasadena, and they brought out
Little TV.
several TV, well,
In a truck, there was outside
little
the
TVs
truck.
for today's TV guys. They were huge TVs, 30-inch TVs. They were huge. Then no, but they stopped. Yeah, for the verdict. The
That
whole
was
set
really
stopped. We waited for the verdict.
I feel like I remember watching the verdict on TVs in that
It probably didn't mean
way.
anything to you.
Yeah, at that age. Gosh, what a weird sensation to have memories just screaming back into your head.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I remember too. It was a day that kind of.
The crossover you never
Darn
did.
that the world stopped. Well, I told Jim last night, I said that's the only time, and nobody, probably but me, remembers Luke and Laura on General Hospital. well, I lived in Miami, and on the news they showed us that the Dolphins stopped their practice when Luke and Laura got married, the wedding. It was like that. It was the world stopped for the OJ trial thing.
Did you follow Luke and Laura?
Yes, I used to wake up at 2 and set, I turned my TV on. Had to watch.
It's like, here's the thing, man, and I give so much credit to Saban. I know he receives a lot of flack. I give so much love and respect to Saban for doing what he had done and creating what he created to impact not only us in America, but literally countries and generations of Power Rangers. When you look at the Alien Rangers, the concept, just like Mike said, it's like they're alien Power Rangers. When we just got told about it being a magical power for humans, let alone aliens to come to this planet. So my question is now, what impact have you guys seen from your work beyond just conventions over this past 29 years?
I think I love doing these conventions and everything. It's a lot of fun, but what I do primarily my income is I teach the next generation of martial artists through martial arts school in Pleasantville, Utah, and I think that's the biggest impact for me as somebody who has been doing martial arts. I've been kicking since I can walk. I don't even remember when I started. And to see that there are still kids now that are coming in and are like, I want to train with Power Ranger, I want to get started in martial arts, and to see these kids grow up through the martial arts, and they get into it because of something fun and silly like Power Rangers, and then they turn into these like awesome kickboxers who are like, starting to turn 18 and are asking me to like coach them in fights. Just seeing that that arc, and in Power Rangers, Three Ninjas, all of those things, they tend to, they get people excited to do something, and then once they're in it, they turn into these just amazing badasses, and I think that's the impact for me as somebody who loves martial artists that I see the most on a very regular occasion.
Well, I thought when I went to my first audition before the callbacks, I decided to find out what this Power Rangers thing was. So while I was finding out, martial arts is great. Oh, it's perfect because I'm the only one with a martial arts background in the Rangers. So I'm going like when we're after audition, I go, great. When do we start training for the fights and stuff? Because I know there'll be weeks. Oh no, you know. What do you mean? No. What? Oh yeah, we got these Japanese guys that are gonna, wait a minute now. So I was a little disappointed because I had been studying for a good 10, 15 years by the time this had happened, and I thought this was my chance, I could do that. Right. Then we get these little brats come on here, they're kicking ass, man. Not only do they know their lines, they know martial arts. I'm in a velvet suit with a prosthetic head. But it was
Well, so here's the thing, right? It's funny, for me, just meeting all of you guys is kind of new, right? I mean, we were, at least the adults here, the adults, right? He's not
About those two.
If you think about it, it was kind of a job, right? And it was the 90s, so the internet, right, didn't really exist. There was no social media back then, so everything was on DVD. There was no really such thing as reruns per se, right?
Blockbuster.
Yeah. And our season, right, was like there and gone, right, so fast. So we did it, or I did it, and then kind of forgot about it, you know. And then over a series of years that started probably in the early 2000s, you crazy people stalked every poor Jim Gray on the planet. Literally, these are. And I remember thinking, you know, people saying, "Oh, you know, you should maybe meet some of the fans." And I remember thinking, "Yeah, that would be fun. Like, make time for that, I guess, for whatever reason." But if the question is, you know, what opportunities? The thing that I think about now is, you know, what opportunities are in front of us that maybe are invisible to us just because we don't take a minute, just a minute, to consider the possibility. You know what I mean? And so Power Rangers for me was such an interesting and fleeting experience in the beginning, right? And now, when I see the culture of it all, you guys, and I feel like, wow, I missed that for a number of years just because I guess I wasn't open to the possibilities. So I often think, well, maybe what's happening to me now, as an old decrepit man as I am, maybe it's just another Power Ranger moment in disguise, right? Maybe it's something awesome, and I gotta take a minute, right, and kind of give it a second, because maybe it's more than I think it is. So I guess that's the thing that kind of sticks with me about this whole Power Ranger experience.
Yeah, you're the yellow ranger.
Yeah, that's right. In perspective, that's awesome.
I can really empathize with that feeling because, you know, having been a kid so young, like I had a whole like high school experience after. So for me, you know, going into like middle school, going into high school, and having to deal with other kids, there was a lot of people who, you know, Power Rangers at that time was for kids, right? So going into high school, it wasn't like a cool thing to say that I had done. It was very much people making fun of me all the time for saying like, oh, it's like, you know, it's Red Ranger and everything. Now I'm an adult again and it's cool again. It's just weird how like it was cool.
It's totally cool.
And then it was like now everybody loves the fact that I was part of Power Rangers.
Yeah, I was an old child, not a young child. What's amazing to me is, you know, I love doing these things. It's been super fun to meet everybody, to get to reconnect with people as well. But the strange thing is every single time I do one of these things, someone finds out that I'm still alive and hires me for something. It's crazy. I'm kidding. Every time I do one of these things, I get a job. It's just the weirdest thing. It's not ever planned, and it was just a nice little bonus. So, cool.
The thing I love, and this you touched on this a little bit, Jim, the Power Ranger fan base, and I don't say this because we're at this convention, I think we all know this is true. The Power Ranger fan base is better than any other franchise in entertainment. Right. The love, the support, the loyalty, we will literally follow you to the ends of the earth, all of you guys. And it's a testament because of the work that you guys have done. And Jim, also, I want to give you this compliment. Your beard is amazing. I don't know how you got it.
Okay, hang on. So the first Brandon Benfield, you probably know him, right? He's the guy. He's the guy that helps us. He's an agent that found me, and he says, you should do the convention. And I swear I said this. I said, does anybody even know about the Alien Rangers? I mean, we were on for 10 seconds 1,000 years ago. And Brandon's like, oh no, they know. They know. You do.
You know why that is, man? And I tell you, I wasn't even a ranger. I've moderated panels here since maybe 2016. And in my life, not just conventions, in my life, people are like, hey, I know you. I'm like, oh, you've seen my TV shows, you've seen the internet. No, you moderated a Power Ranger panel. Like, the loyalty is crazy, so they will continue to follow you guys. So my question now is, as your character, where are they now if you could write it? I ask the best questions.
I brought popsicles to Aqueduct. I now have a franchise called Power Popsicles. There's only one problem. They're all red.
Red Ranger Ice Creamery, I like it.
One flavor. I wasn't the brightest.
Eating popsicles underwater, that's gotta be complicated. I mean, I grow up to be Steve Cardenas. I don't know. You know, somehow an Irish man turns into a Latin man magically, and then becomes the Red Ranger. I don't know.
Well, I feel like my character was always inquisitive and learning things, so I feel like I took over and ended up helping Raja, because somehow I never had any sort of lines.
Well, I can tell you exactly how I would write it. Tydeus and Raja run off together and live happily ever after.
But she won't let him say one word.
Yeah, she doesn't cheats on Billy.
Power Rangers at the duck. So, I know you guys are shining together. I want to give you one last opportunity. If there are any questions, let's form a line. Like I don't want to just do the hands. Let's form this line.
Doing lines in the center. Is that what it is, or a side?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it over here because camera is this here in the middle. So let's do it right here. Sir. Look at that. Here you go. Perfect. So just say your name and then your question, please.
All right, turn this a little bit. There we go.
Hi guys, I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Wait a minute, everybody, make some noise for Josh, y'all.
Talk about your audition process, like each one of you, how it went, how how many callbacks, and did you think, was there ever like, I'm not gonna get it, or I am gonna get it, like how did it all go?
I'm actually interested in this as well, because I want to know if you guys' audition experience was similar to mine at all, because I went. There are two big parts that I had were Power Rangers and Three Ninjas, and each one of those audition processes were like 10 to 15 different auditions. Like, it was a ridiculous amount of auditions, and I think my audition process for Power Rangers was so complicated because they were not only looking for kids who can act, kids who can do martial arts, but they're also looking for kids that looked like certain adults. So like, I think they were just like jockeying us in and out of position and matching us up a lot. I just remember, usually when you go on auditions, you go on one, and then you get a call back, and then after that, they either call you and say you have the part, or they never call you again, and you just assume you didn't get it because you never show up on set. So this one I was always like, after the second one, it was always just like one more, and then I wouldn't hear anything for a while, and I'd be like, all right, I didn't get it, and then another callback, and then another callback. And it was emotionally exhausting. I would say is probably the best way to describe that experience.
Well, mine was really crazy because I was directing a show that Katie Wallen, who was a casting director, was producing, and I happened to be in her office rehearsing a scene, and she said, "Hey, Alan, do you want to audition for this show called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?" I hadn't heard of it, and I said, "Sure," and she goes, "I can get you in the door, but I can't get you a job." So I walked in immediately and read sides, and then on the way home got a call in saying that I got it. So that was like just random and easy. We don't like it.
No, actually, mine wasn't a lot more difficult, but it was kind of funny. I think I was telling somebody at dinner last night. I was telling Tommy, the other Mike. Katie Wallen, they did the casting, and I did showcases and stuff there, so I knew her sidekick, her assistant, Tom Clone at the time, and so I auditioned, and then I got a call from Tom a couple of days later, and I go, "Oh, I got the job." He said, "No, but I'm bringing you back." I go, "But they didn't ask to have me come back." He said, "No." I said, "Well, why am I coming back?" He said, "Because after we had a meeting, and everything they said they want, I saw you do. so I guess they just weren't paying attention. I'm gonna bring you back. I only had one more. I went and did the same thing, and then I got the job. So that's how fickle Hollywood is, and you know, you get a tickle in your throat, you're not paying attention, somebody doesn't have a job. That's how crazy this business is. So yeah, no, it was great, and I can't thank Katie and Tom enough, because yeah, it was a great experience. And here I am, I can't die without coming back to Power Rangers. It's awesome. This is awesome.
I stood in a line that like went around the block. I did, totally. Yeah, I got a call from my agent, he says, yeah, show up. Apparently every other agent, and I stood in the line with, it seemed like hundreds of other guys that looked just like me, actually. And I read...
Good-looking crowd.
Yeah, good-looking crowd. And I read like 4 times. And yeah, and then I was radio silence for a number of weeks. And then I got a call.
Well, I guess they were trying to find somebody as good as Alan and I. They had to run you through the group. That's no, I mean, we're all totally different. I mean, Karim and I are, you know, very similar, but our personalities and everything are totally different, and I like the way they cast us.
One of the, not to steal the mic from you, man. One of the things that I always found that was super cool, like a memory from my childhood, is watching you guys. Like, I feel like they gave you guys a lot of leeway in creating the culture of like who the Alien Rangers were, as far as like the way you guys held your hands, the way you guys talked, the way you guys interacted. So if I can steal a question from you, because I would like to hear more about that, like that process of creating who the Alien Rangers were, if you could speak to that at all, or if I'm out of line.
A lot of leeway or no forethought, depending on how you look at it.
They're like, you guys do.
We arrived at set that first day when we beamed in by the lake. The director said, okay, and now I want you to do your power signs. Okay. Stop. And we all just said, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, you do that. Okay, you do that. Okay, here we are. So the culture was actually, from actors, you don't usually get that. You get it all thrown. So it was good for us, I guess. We're all creative. We did it, but it was very unusual.
Raja came up with
Yeah,
this
it
whole thing.
was a process of like experimentation, like literally on the set in costume, kind of talking it through. Well, what if we did this? What if we did that? What if we did this? Kind of worked it through, and then kind of showed the director what we had, and he's like, good.
And this was like, it meant love, but then when we were all together, it made a star. So it was kind of a cool thing, and I really liked it.
I do remember one time on set we were all putting our hands in, and you guys were supposed to do like your own version of, you know, that stereotypical everybody's hands are on each other thing. You guys came in with that star, and then they were like, oh, we can't shoot it from that angle, so they ended up going with a whole, them not knowing what that means. I remember Raja was like, we all put our hands in, and she was like, she touched it for a second, she was like, this is weird, why are we all touching each other?
Yeah, we had our powers for over a millennium. The footnote said when we got the job, but we didn't know how to meet other species.
Makes sense.
That was it, yeah, we were supposed to, we had we're from another planet, a water planet called Aquitar. We had our powers for over a millennium. We had been guardians of the universe elsewhere and had come to this planet because the Power Rangers on Earth had been met with evil and had their powers taken away, and they had to go through the process of the geocrystal process to getting their powers in the quest. And that was what our process was about. And then, yeah, and that's while they had the big kids in New Zealand making the movie. And I thought, well, that's brilliant, thanks for the job.
Which, by the way, they would never give you that much information nowadays at auditions. They would just say, all right, these are the lines.
It was the 90s.
After you, buddy. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Liam.
Feedback, yeah. All right, say your name again.
Hi, my name is Liam.
Liam, make some noise for Liam!
I know. My question is mostly for David, but also for you guys as well.
Hold it. We're being joined by another Alien Ranger. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise!
All right. Tell you, we looked a lot alike.
So sorry, I apologize, and I'm grateful to be here. So, piggybacking off of what Jim said earlier, I know that you said that you didn't really know the show at all when you got cast, but what was it like finding out that you were going to be the Red Ranger, and then learning that the Red has been the lead for the whole series, like the lead Ranger, and then it's like, wait, the Red's not the lead for our team. What was that like, finding out your color, and then the rest of y'all as well, like, what that was like?
Now that Karim's here, I can address that. I brought this up to Jim yesterday. I said, yeah, once I started finding out about the Power Rangers and finding out who the red guy was, that's cool. Then they gave Karim all that guy's lines. I'm going, what's up with that? He's Black Ranger. I'm Red Ranger. No, you're Black Ranger. What color were you?
Uh-oh, hold on, wait a minute.
I was blue. Hey, I told you I didn't know anything about the Power Rangers other than my color. So to answer your question, I did find that out, and when we got our lines though. So yes, I had the colors mixed up, obviously. But yeah, his character was the guy that I thought I was going to get to be, but you know, whatever, it was all fun.
To his credit, I am black on the inside, so.
Since we were sort of in that process of Mighty Morphin going into Zeo, right? Like we were off finding Zeo crystals. What was really interesting to me is how much behind the scenes people's colors were shifting around for the new Zeo Rangers. Like when I was filming in that volcano, I thought that I would be the Green Ranger. I was getting the green Zeo crystal, and I was like, cool, the Green Ranger, right? Because like I was saying, we were filming in that transition from nobody knowing who the White Ranger is. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be the Green Ranger. And then they switched it over to the blue, and I was like, all right, well, you know, it's still cool, but I don't get a power shield or anything.
How are you, man? What's your name?
I'm Will.
Hey, Will. Make some noise for Will, everybody!
It's Will, ladies and gentlemen.
First, I want to say it's great to you guys finally have your own panel. It's about time. And you guys are going to be my first question at Morphicon.
Nice.
Would you want to star in an Alien Ranger spin-off movie?
Yes! Today. Do you have one?
Because we'll do it.
You guys can push me off a mountain into a time vortex any day.
We would totally do a movie. Of course.
I got the synopsis for you. We've come back from Aquitar because the kids have all grown up, yet there is a new evil that they can't defeat by themselves. So now it takes
It's called arthritis.
No, that's what's happening to me on Aquitar.
Great question, man. Thank you so much.
We want to hear from Karim.
All right.
Well, first of all, I appreciate being here. I think to answer to your question, you know, our fearless leader, Delphine, who couldn't be here, but definitely here in spirit, you know, doing a movie to be able to share the screen with these amazing actors, both the young ones who are now older now, and our illustrious, amazing leader would be a fantastic experience. So thank you for even asking the question. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Will.
Speaking of which, can we do this really fast? Can you all wish Raja well? Just say, get well, Raja. I'll do it in 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
How you doing, man? Oh, a beard to rival Jim's.
Beard fight.
What's your name, man?
My name's Josh.
Josh, everybody!
First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for being here. I love your season. Thank you very much. And my question would be, when you guys signed on, were you of the understanding that you were going to get a full season, or was it always going to be the abridged season that ended up happening?
I mean, I was 11, so I could barely read. So it's weird signing contracts when you're 11. But that being said, the first time I was cast in season 2 in a 2-parter. So that's all I thought I was going to do when I first got cast. And then we shot that 2-parter episode, and then I went on my life, and then like 9 months, maybe like a year later, my dad basically walks into my room and was like, "Hey, you've been cast on a season of Power Rangers." I was like, "Cool." I had no idea, like, for me, I don't think I understood at that time, like, what a season was. So for me, it was just going on set and doing what people told me and memorizing my lines, right? So I don't think I had an understanding of what that meant at that time.
I think we all kind of had the same sort of thing. We just went on set and did what we did, but there was rumblings about us maybe doing a spin-off series, and so that kind of looked hopeful, and I think that's why none of us actually asked for our heads or costumes, because, you know, they destroy those things afterwards, and so wasn't sure, you know? Yeah, so I wish we would have asked if we could take something, because they had 2 sets of everything.
Real quick, before you answer, and I want to get to everybody. You right there in the red. I make it my business that every panel, everybody gets to ask the question that they want. So get back in line and you're our final question. Come on. But, go ahead. Give it to us.
Yeah, like Alan, it was, as I recall, it was 10 episodes, 10 weeks. That was the contract. We signed it. Just happy to have a job. And just sort of, kind of figured that was what it was.
I think on top of all of that, I mean, just to be a part of the Power Ranger lore and the brand and everything it represents, bringing a new spin and, you know, Aquitian Rangers, Alien Rangers, but, you know, to be attached to such a powerful brand and experience in a group of people. I think for us, whether it's 10 episodes, 2 episodes, just to be a part of it and have all you people here remembering just 10 episodes and yet having a panel and you guys experiencing it and coming up to our booths and sharing what it's been like to experience what it is to be an Alien Ranger. I mean, I got my man in the front row right here representing. Give him some love right there. He came through with the mask. Come on. He's truly just adopted what it is to be an Alien Ranger and a Ranger as well. So we just appreciated the experience. So thank you for the question.
Karim, I also hate that you still look like you did in 1993. How you doing, brother?
We're not jealous at all.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Mike Fallon.
Make noise!
The question is, how does it feel looking back that your season is literally one of the most important seasons in cinema and media, because you had the first ever like female ranger, and she was the first white ranger to be a leader, but also a woman, and basically you set the example that you know, leadership doesn't have a gender. And how do you feel the ripple effects of that been in the last like 30 years?
I think that's what I love about, and I've always loved about the sci-fi genre in general, right? I mean, everything from the first season of Star Trek to even like the Orville now, we get to explore concepts that seem just through customs that we've been building up in our society. We get to see that change up and have it not be a weird thing. And that's what I was excited about when I learned about these guys coming on set, was because I was such a sci-fi nerd when I'm still am now, obviously, you guys hear me talking about it, but such a sci-fi nerd that it was a very exciting experience to go through. You know, as 11 years old, I don't think I really understood the weight of that, but for me, going on set, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, man. We're in a sci-fi thing. I don't even know that Raja is like technically identifies as female, because it's a completely different race, and those are the fun things to explore in sci-fi, and it was good to be a part of it.
One thing I wanted to add to that, there's so many aspects to what it is to be a woman, and I think it's, you know, this whole boss lady thing, the way Raja represented what it is to be a woman ranger with grace and compassion, a sense of sacrifice. The idea of, hey, these rangers are gonna come down and risk their lives, and her being the leader saying, hey, we're willing to do that for the sake of not only the rangers, but for the sake of humankind. So the ability to look past just the, okay, I wanna be this person of strength, where sacrifice and understanding and compassion and love and empathy are just as strong characteristics too, that she represented with a sense of sophistication and regalness and kindness. And I think who she is as a person, and I think that was exemplified through her character as well. So, thank you.
Nice. How you doing?
Nice to meet you guys. My name is Sabrina.
Sabrina!
Echoing what Clayton said, we just absolutely did not get enough of you guys on screen. My question is from Mike. You mentioned that you're teaching now. So the question, would you be interested in returning to the franchise? Because it would be so great to see you as a character in your own right. As like a mentor figure or something for the new season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be fun. I love Power Rangers. I love what Power Rangers has become, and like as you said several times, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so definitely jump at the chance. I don't know how that would work technically now that I'm union, and I don't think.
You could probably go over to. You could probably go to New Zealand shoot because it's a different union, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
we're all
down.
union now.
I mean, obviously, it would have to be a separate character because I wouldn't want to walk in Steve's shoes, man. That guy's a BA. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want to play like Rocky or anything like that. But hey, if you put a sword in my hand, I would love to go after the Power Rangers. I always play
Bad
heroes.
guy. There's the scenario, the evil twist of another dimension.
Here we go.
Became
I'm
the
gonna pitch it
bad
right
guy.
now. I'm gonna pitch it right now. 2 words: Dark Rocky.
Rocky. There you go.
Let's go to fan campaign, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final question. Give it to us. What's your name?
I'm Avery.
Avery, make it go!
My question is, being in an industry that privileges youth with beauty, how do you navigate the industry with your and find that courage to be able to either continue acting or find that courage just to be yourself as a Power Ranger or as a human?
I don't think I have as much of an issue with that as other actors do. But I think what I have gone through is being a child actor and then transitioning into an adult is always like a weird, especially like in the in-between, because everybody still kind of wants you to look like a child, but you look like an adult, so like you're going on weird auditions where you're like, oh, the script says 11 years old and you're 17, and like, that's really weird. I think the way you have to do it is you have to find like the confidence in who you are and who you've become, and really try to project that as much as possible. Everybody's gonna look at me as the kid in Power Rangers, right? But what I have to do is I have to find the confidence in who I am now and project that I'm now a man, and that's kind of how I got over it. But that's the only way I can really identify with that sentiment.
Avery, that's an amazing question, and it's the Hollywood 101. It's so tough to age. No matter how big of a star you are, it's amazing how at a certain age you age out. Women especially, it's a really sad thing that like at 40, all of a sudden you become invisible. Men, we have a little bit more of a shelf life, but even, as soon as we start showing a lot of signs of aging, there's a handful of people that end up becoming, character actors that are able to continue on. And it's a weird thing. I don't know why age is such a weird, and I think it starts with youth kind of embracing older people and realizing that they're going to be there as well. So, exactly. So embrace it and appreciate the people that are around you that have paved the way. It's a great question. That was awesome.
I would say too, the interesting thing, if you don't fit the classical norm of beauty, the great opportunity is it encourages you to develop everything else. And then what's interesting is the sum total of all those things working together, society still just labels it beautiful. So you approach beauty from a completely different angle, which is far more sustainable than just the physical piece, which is here for a second and then gone.
I like that. Leaning into the skin.
Well, TV today, we got to give props to, from commercials to shows. We see not the classic 18-inch, long-legged, skinny girl that was always there for decades. And we have a lot of different people. There's a lot. I'm sure you guys see TV. There's a lot of shows that have more normal people. It's not just the sidekick anymore. There's starring from America. What's her name with the TV show that's a Walmart, you know what I'm saying? From Ferrero, right, etc. There's a lot of stuff, and I love it. I love seeing the commercials, etc. So yeah, I mean, people give TV the boob tube, it rots your brain, but it has really helped society switch to a lot of acceptance by letting us see each other.
It is the best time in history to be weird right now. So, this is good.
That being said, anyone know a good plastic surgeon?
I'll say this as we wrap up. To your point, Avery, the yes and to everything that these gentlemen have said, as well as create, right? You're looking at somebody that has so much success from creating my own content. And through that, the people that you see on TV, the reason the faces change, are because the creators changed and got the show on the air. So anything that you do, whether it be internet, television, film, you look at Power Rangers Extended Universes. These are things that we started because we got tired of seeing the Rangers that they were giving us. So we're like, you know what? I would like to push the story this way and age it up this way. So the answer is always create, and then you determine what beauty truly is. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to give not only a round of applause, but I would like to give a standing ovation to all of the Alien Rangers. They will be out, visit their booths, walk up to them, try and get a picture, shake their hands, tell them how much they mean to you guys, because life is short. Always give people the flowers when you get an opportunity. As for us, we are out. I will see you at my 5 o'clock panel if you guys come to Mighty Morphin.
Sign me up.
I know, right?
Back to action.